What's up guys, Ruppy here, welcoming you to week 9 of the International Battling League. And I have some good news to share to start things off. As of our victory last week, my Columbus Swoo with our 7-1 and plus 12 record are among the first teams this season to clinch playoffs. So that climb is out of the way, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm planning to take my foot off the gas pedal quite yet, at least not entirely. Main reason is, there's still a bit of shuffling around that needs to be done as far as the rankings for playoffs, and any ability I have to potentially kind of control my own destiny, I would kind of like to take it, because I'll be upfront with you guys. This is the first season in quite some time where I'm going beyond the free agency period, which ended last week, where I haven't actually made any moves. First time in quite some time. And typically when I get into playoffs and have to deal with rematches, my record when I haven't made any changes to my roster whatsoever is a bit less than stellar, to put it mildly. So, kind of want to still put on a bit of a strong performance, just I guess as proof to myself that I can build up my confidence heading into what awaits us down the line. But shifting gears to this week, I kind of apologize for the creepy, gloomy atmosphere of our locker room right now, but I thought it'd be a nice little extra touch, considering who we're playing this week. For week 9, we will be playing the San Diego Snugglers, coached by GrandMaster D.Rey. And before I get into that, I should probably fix something that I haven't been doing over the past several weeks, and it's something I deeply apologize for. Down in the description below, you will find links to the channels for all the coaches who have been participating in IBL this season. Definitely give them a look, especially D.Rey, because he does this incredible podcast every week called the Grandmasters Table. It is definitely worth listening to. It's a good podcast. I was listening to some of it while my front office and I were piecing together a game plan for this battle. Definitely worth checking out. Leaving our locker room behind for a moment, and shifting gears to our quote-unquote chalkboard, I'll go ahead and throw the matchup up on the right side of the screen there. His team might look a bit familiar to anyone who watched my Week 10 battle in the LET against the Georgia Tech B-Drills. There's a lot of similarities between the two rosters, and it poses generally the same kinds of problems. He has Zeraora, Celebi, Sandaconda, which is his G-Max, Silvally, Escavalier, Mandibuzz, Surfetch'd, Rhydon, Slurpuff, Quillfish, and Heatmore. Couple things to point out. Zeraora is stupidly fast, everyone knows this, it outspeeds my entire team, and I think it actually gives this roster a bit more of a problem than it did my LET roster, which I think is the first time all season in either league I've been able to say that. Because typically my IBL team is in a better position than my LET one is half the time, sadly. Celebi, being a base 100 across the board mythical, can pretty much do whatever, so that's always a challenge. Sandaconda is a fairly recent-ish addition to his team. At some point in the past few weeks, he dropped Gengar as his G-Max to pick up Sandaconda, which is an interesting shift and definitely creates a whole new set of problems for me because of what Sandaconda is capable of. Silvally is a pain just because it can literally do whatever you want it to, pretty much. It can be any type, it can run a multitude of things. That thing, as always, is just a giant headache. One mon I'm almost positive is coming to this game, however, my front office and I are kind of dead set on this, is Escavalier. And we're leaning more towards the idea that it's going to be a max HP, max SPDEF AV Escavalier. Mostly because of the mon that's sitting in my first slot here as far as my team is concerned. I'll be upfront. If any of you are getting vibes of how similar this roster is to the Georgia Tech B-Drills roster from LET that I kind of stomped fairly recently, and I do apologize to Nadia and LET for that. It happens, but I needed that win. Getting back on topic though. Anyone who saw that game knows that a roster like this is prone to being one thing, and that's Kyurem food. Escavalier is the one thing that really stops Kyurem from completely tearing through this team in generally any capacity. But my front office and I, namely my good pal Gage, who is definitely on fire with some of the heat he's been suggesting. Huge shout-outs to him. Much love to all my front office for all the help they've been giving me all season, but definitely to Gage for being a workhorse as far as some of the heat he's been throwing out that I've definitely taken a liking to. Speaking of heat, as we get into Kyurem here, as I start running through my team, when I say Kyurem and heat in the same sentence, I mean that in the most bizarrely literal sense possible. So Kyurem has a Chople Berry to deal with anything that wants to throw fighting type attacks my way, namely something like Zero Aura wanting to chuck close combats at me, or if he brings something like Sylvali Fighting, because that's what happened in my LET game. Surfetch is definitely something to consider there. But aside from the fairly generic spread, which is really just Kyurem doing Kyurem things, Ice Beam and Earth Power are fairly standard fare, because they pretty much run through his entire roster. The real heat is these first two moves right here. Sunny Day and Weather Ball. I know it sounds bizarre, but Weather Ball is an odd new toy Kyurem got to play with, and I'm definitely excited to potentially use it in this game, because, as you all know, Weather Ball's type and power changes with the weather. Obviously, it gets a weather buff from being the same type, changing to the same type as whatever weather it's in, which it gives boost to that anyway. So if I set up a Sunny Day, while Escavalier's sitting right in front of me, and I fire off a Weather Ball, which becomes Fire type, which gets boosted by the sun, even a max HP, max special defense AV Escavalier is probably going to die. Granted, it's a bit of a roll, but Escavalier really does not want to be taking that hit, period. So this nice little tech basically allows Kyurem to muscle past the one thing that really stands between it and basically making mincemeat out of this whole roster on its own. So that's going to be fun, seeing what Kyurem can do with literal heat. I know, an Ice Dragon spitting literal fire. That should be an interesting sight to see if I can pull it off. But moving away from heat and moving to the tried and true, we have a G-Max Hatterene set that has kind of become a staple of mine as of this point in the season. The 244 HP EVs, the tiny bit of investment in defenses, max special attack. It's my Trick Room G-Max Hatsukiya. Magic Bounce obviously keeps hazards from hitting my side of the field and reflects them. And he's got some hazards he can definitely throw my way, so I definitely want to be wary of that. Wise Glasses, as usual, gives the 1.1 times power boost without any sort of downsides. Trick Room will flip the speed tables to basically allow Hatsukiya to run Rough Shot over most of his team. Psychic and Dazzling Gleam or Stab. Mystical Fire is for things like Escavalier. Definitely helps with Celebi as well. Now, my front office and I are of the belief that because Hatterene, especially Trick Room Hat, can pose such a problem, D.Rey may opt to run min speed, no speed IVs, that kind of Escavalier, because it would actually be slower than Hat under Trick Room. So ideally, I would want Escavalier out of the way first, or otherwise I'm going to hold off on the Trick Room until I am for certain that Escavalier is basically toasted. But once that's gone, I set up Trick Room, and Hat does what Hat does best. Moving on, we have Cyanide the Salazzle, who is definitely looking to be the open flame that roasts a couple marshmallows this week. I'm running a Nasty Plot Life Orb set with Flamethrower and Fire Blast being interchangeable, whether I'm looking for power or accuracy. Sludge Wave just decimates in general because stab poison. Little bit of defense investment, 124 HP EVs to give it some bulk, max special attack. The 124 speed with the timid nature, I believe is meant to speed creep a non-Scarf Celebi. I'll be honest, I'm kind of half expecting Scarf Celebi in this game just because Salazzle could be such a problem. Because I'll be upfront, if I get a Nasty Plot up, Salazzle is tearing giant holes in this team. So that would not surprise me. But Still, Cyanide will outspeed a non-Scarf Celebi, and we will be able to go from there. Moving down the list, once again making its return is something that has definitely proven its worth to me this season. My cursed design, good old Runerigus. Fairly standard idea here. Max HP, max defense, leftovers, stealth rocks, burn things with Will-O-Wisp, hit things with Earthquake and Shadow Claw, kind of the works there. Runerigus is kind of essential to this game, mostly because its mere presence effectively kills one possible strategy D.Rey could bring against me, and that is Belly Drum Slurpuff. If I let D.Rey set up a Belly Drum with Slurpuff with Unburden, that could be catastrophic under most circumstances. However, so long as Runerigus is alive to stand in Slurpuff's way, he has to make contact with me if he is running the Belly Drum set, even if the only move he can hit me with is Play Rough. Runerigus can actually take a +6 Play Rough from full, believe it or not, with this max investment. But the more important note is that if he does make contact with Play Rough, Wandering Spirit will take away Unburden, which effectively cripples Slurpuff, because all I have to do from there is send in something that outspeeds it, and Slurpuff, like say Salazzle for example, and Slurpuff is probably going to be reduced to a pile of crumbs sitting on the floor. So that is one definitely used for Runerigus, but the main purpose is its usual: be a defensive wall, set up rocks, burn things, and just be an all-around pain in the ass like it has been the past few weeks. Speaking of being a max physical wall, we move on to Laundry Day the Rotom. Now, this is where I did kind of deviate away a bit from something that Gage suggested to me, mostly because there were a couple of options we were tossing around, and because of one option I decided not to settle on because I kind of didn't think it was as effective in this game. I did make a bit of alterations to this Rotom Wash set. It's your typical bulky wall leftover set, Volt Switch and Hydro Pump with Will-O-Wisp to burn things. Defog is the change I made. We were originally working with Pain Split on this set, and I might actually still change that. I'm still contemplating that even at this late hour before game time. But I decided to go Defog just to make sure that hazards were not an issue for me, especially since Rotom pretty much outside of rocks avoids, say, toxic spikes that Quillfish could set up, which would definitely be a problem. So Rotom's job is to get rid of hazards and otherwise just be a bulky wall. Typical Rotom stuff. Last but not least is Guardian the Cobalion, which is also running a Chople Berry, because my team does not want to deal with fighting stuff this game, and he has a bunch of fighting options he could potentially throw at me. The idea here is to basically set up a Swords Dance and go to town. Basically, Guardian's operating on the same wavelength as Cyanide to some degree. 196 speed EVs with a Jolly Nature is, again, I believe, benchmarking Celebi, non-Scarf. Max attack, obviously, with Swords Dance is just going to hurt. 60 HP is just give some bulk. Iron Head and Close Combat are standard fare for stab. The X-Scissor is primarily for Celebi more than anything else, because Celebi is quad weak to Bug, and a +2 X-Scissor is certainly not something that little Onion Fairy wants to be eating. So that's going to do it for us as we go back to the locker room here. I apologize if this sounded a bit awkward. I have actually needed several takes to get this team builder done, and I honestly don't know why. This has been a bit of a rough week on me, between my wrist, which has thankfully been recovering. Kind of threw up my back earlier this week too, which hasn't helped matters. But despite all that, I am still pressing forward as best as I can. And I apologize if this has sounded awkward at all, because for whatever reason, I just haven't really been in a good mindset to try to record this, but it needs recorded. But I think I covered everything I need to. So I hope you guys enjoyed sitting in my locker room. I hope you guys enjoyed this team builder section of the video. And I will see you guys when it is battle time. Hey guys, I wanted to give a quick apology before the battle portion of this video begins. I know I've been doing this an awful lot lately. I really don't like to keep doing this, but I do want to apologize for the commentary you are about to hear in the battle half of the video. I have no idea what happened because I have never run into this issue before up until now. But there are some weird popping and breaks and whatnot that occurred during this commentary that I did not notice until I got around to actually editing this video. I have no idea where they came from. I have piled every possible effect that Adobe Audition has to offer to try and eliminate it. And at best, I hope I reduced it enough that it's tolerable. I sincerely apologize nonetheless, and hopefully this is the only time this issue comes up. But I did want to give you fair warning that it might be a bit of a rocky ride as far as listening to my commentary. I tried my best to fix it, guys, and I still have no idea what happened. But hopefully this is a one-off issue that will not be popping up again. There is something dumb that's in the air tonight. Don't seem like an I would open up this part of the video, but D.Rey and I have been trying for quite some time to actually get connected. We finally just did. Here's to hoping that we have no further issues because, boy, this has been... Whatever weird connection issues we're apparently having, this has been dumb. And that's all I'm going to say about it. Let's just go ahead and get into the battle. Let's not wait any longer. We waited long enough as it is. Alright, let's see what he brought to this dance. He brought Heatmore. Interesting. Zeraora and Celebi. There is no surprise there. As Cavalier, I am not surprised to see that. Quillfish and his Gmax Sandaconda. Huh. So looking over this, I could see Celebi as a lead. I could see Quillfish as a lead. I could also see him just straight up lead Zeraora. In at least two of those scenarios, I feel comfortable leading Laundry Day and going from there. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have Laundry Day take the lead on this one. Typical Rotom lead, as Rotom does. And go from there, see what happens. If he leads Celebi, I will figure something out. But I think I'm actually kind of not in a bad spot leading Rotom. It can kind of take on Zeraora. It should be able to threaten Heatmore with a Hydro Pump. As Cavalier, I can just deal with accordingly. Quillfish, I can Volt Switch on. Sandaconda, I can probably just blow up with a Hydro Pump or something. Rotom is actually kind of a good Sandaconda check in this game. Alright, good luck, have fun, D.Rey. Apologies again for all the trouble we've been having for whatever reason. And let's hope that that trend does not continue. And we actually get through this game correctly. Or properly, whatever. So we're going to go to the Ghost Stadium, which seems about apropos. He does lead the Celebi. So that tells me one of two things. Either the Celebi is Scarfed, or it's a defensive one meant to set rocks, which, looking over his team, I wouldn't put it past him if he's not running rocks on Sandaconda just because it's his G-Max. If he has Leaf Storm, it's a 1-in-4 shot of Okoing if he is a more... Well, actually, it may be less than that. If he Scarfs, he could U-turn as well. Call me crazy, I'm going to stand and click Volt Switch and see what he does. He is just a rock setter. Okay, that is good to know. So this thing is probably not Scarf then. That is nice information to have. So rocks are up, which is a bit of a pain, but I can bring Rotom in and deal with those later. There's probably a more bulky one. And I honestly have no problem bringing in Guardian here. Just to start trying to threaten this thing. I'm going to assume he probably U-turns out into something. And there's leftovers. So, I could SD up here. Actually, SDing up would be... Yeah, I'm going to Swords Dance. Because I'm in a relatively safe position to do so. If this Celebi wants to switch out, I can be my guest. I can just SD up and then smack something hard, depending on what he wants to bring in here. Because close combat will definitely hit a lot of things hard. This thing really does not want to be eating an X-Scissor from me, if that's the route he wants to go. He's just going to straight withdraw. Into... Quillfish! Which does have Intimidate, which is fine. Because I'm still going to get this SD up. And... honestly, I'm going to SD again. I really see no reason not to right now. I don't see this Quillfish actually doing a whole lot to me. Maybe it wants to set T-Spikes, but I can just bring Rotom in and Defog goes away without issue. I'm just going to SD up again, so I'm technically at +3 right now. I'm going to put where I can two-shot this Quillfish if I want to. He's going to set Spikes. Alrighty then. Actually... I definitely two-shot this thing from this range. Actually, I'm going to SD again. I really have no reason not to. This Quillfish is basically just going to let me set up. As he Pain Splits. Which I think really just gave me a tiny bit of HP back more than anything else. I'm going to go ahead and close combat, because it's a two-shot from here. So no T-Spikes, but there are definitely spikes up for this from this Quillfish. That did a little more than I thought it was going to for what's basically +5. And now he's going to go for the Liquidation. Which is a fair amount. But if close combat did that much, this thing is definitely in range for me to kill with an Iron Head. From +5. Just to avoid further defense drops. So I'm going to Iron Head. That's going to be the end of Quillfish. And I can get rid of the Spike and the Stealth Rock that's accompanying it just as soon as I can get Rotom back in. So if I were a gambling man, I would say Zeraora comes in now. Unless he's got something else that's Scarfed, and if he brings it in, I know for sure it's Scarfed then. Something that's not Zeraora, then Zeraora is definitely coming in right about now. And that is, in fact, what happens. So, I am at 113 right now. I'm in range where a Plasma Fist could kill. But would he go for Plasma Fist or would he go close combat? If he does, with the Chople Berry, he doesn't kill me. Storm going on outside. I'm just going to play close combat. And see what he wants to... He takes the bait. He's going to pop my Chople Berry. Guardian's going to live on 5. And that's a dead Zeraora. That's Life Orb, okay. So that's why I did a little more than I thought. I got Magna on this. I use standard sets when I do Calculus until pieces start coming together. But that is Zeraora out of the way early, and that is actually kind of huge. Because... I'll be upfront with you guys. Zeraora was a problem. And now it's gone. And Cobalion basically outspeeds everything at this point. My Chople Berries pop, but if I were to honestly hazard a guess, I would probably say... Oh, Heatmor comes in. Is this thing scarfed? Oh, he's gonna click close combat. Actually, I think I know what he's gonna do. He's probably gonna Sucker Punch. Yep, that's exactly what he's gonna do. Which is gonna kill Guardian. Which is fine. That's perfectly fine. Guardian did more than what I needed it to in this game. So at this point, given what he's got left, I can easily go into Laundry Day here, and I think I'm going to do that, actually, just so I can defog these hazards away. With Celebi floating around, the Stealth Rocks are still an issue, but I can at least get rid of the Spike for sure. So that's what I'm going to do. See, this is why I'm glad I decided to make that change and keep defog after all. Handsplit would be nice, but given how this is going, I actually don't think it's really that necessary, as he's going to switch out back into Celebi. Which is fair enough. I know this is a defensive Celebi. So hazards are gone. I'm going to get Leftovers recovery back, as is he. So, one thing I'm thinking here, I know he's probably going to be putting rocks up here right about now. And to that degree, I can go into Hesukia, which basically magic bounces them, so Curse Design doesn't need to throw rocks around. I could also just go Cryogenic, because Cryogenic is actually kind of in a really good spot right about now. I could also go Cyanide and just immediately threaten this thing out with a Sludge Wave or a Fire Blast. I know the rocks are coming. I'm going to go into Hesukia, actually. I'm going to reflect his rocks and then go from there. If he decides to go for rocks, but I have a feeling he would. No, he goes Energy Ball. So he went straight for the attack there. Good to know. So this is defensive Celebi, but it's... That Energy Ball did quite a bit, though. I wonder if this is Stealth Rock's 3 attacks with Leftovers. I'm just going to click Mystical Fire. I probably should be Preserving Hat, but... that U-turn actually below half, that's fine. Rocks aren't up, which is nice. And however he wants to play this, he's going to go into... Oh dear. Oh dear, I just gave this thing Flash Fire. Oh dear, that's a problem. That is a problem. Given what he's got left... I'm gonna send in Curse Design. Probably a bad call, given I just gave this Heatmor Flash Fire, but... I want to see what he wants to do. Fire Lash! Which does not do as much, but I do get the defense drop, which is a bit iffy. I do take Flash Fire, though. So, now he can't hit... Plus side, now he can't hit me with Fire Lash. Downside... I'm gonna set rocks, actually. He can't Fire Lash me again. Actually, I was about to say, does he even get the, I was about to wonder if he actually even gets the, Flash Fire boost still. But I'm gonna be able to get my rocks up. Which is nice. I am at minus defense, but... I think I'm still good right about now. And Curse Design actually isn't looking as useful in this matchup from this point, honestly. I'm just gonna stand and collect Shadow Claw. I want damage off from the Celebi. As he just straight Psychics. Okay, then. I can take that. Pop the thing with the Shadow Claw. Do almost half. Okay, I am thinking this is not a defensive Celebi. I'm thinking it's just rocks 3 attacks. That is actually making a hell of a lot more sense right about now. And in that regard, with rocks up, I think I'm going to go Cryogenic, actually. Because I think this is where Kyurem starts to shine. Alright. So, Kyurem can definitely take a Psychic from this, and it definitely kills with an Ice Beam. So I'm going to apply pressure. He's going to Energy Ball, which is just as well. Kyurem eats that. And I think it's about time. If I'm going to hazard a guess, he goes in... I'm going to click Sunny Day. Because I think this is where he goes into Escavalier, because... there's no way he risks Sandaconda to an Ice Beam. Yup, straight into Escavalier. So, this is where I get to show off the tech. I am actually really glad that I'm getting a chance to show this. It's Leftovers! That is even better, actually. Because I'm clicking Weather Ball now, and this is a dead Escavalier. He is probably really confused as to why Sunny Day. I'm going to show Weather Ball. And that's a dead Escavalier. Holy... I am so glad I got to show that off. Oh my god. My Ice Dragon is out here spitting literal fire. This is a good day. I'm sorry I pulled that on you, D.Rey, but... I am so glad I actually pulled that off. My Ice Dragon showing some literal heat. And from this point... Hemor would die to an Earth Power. Celebi definitely dies to an Ice Beam. His best bet would be to go into Sandaconda. No, he goes Celebi. Fair enough, then. I'm just clicking Ice Beam. They definitely kill Celebi from this range. And I outspeed. Okay. Was he... I'm assuming he was speed creeping to try... Was he... Okay. I'm assuming he was speed creeping a not max speed Kyurem. That's the only assumption I can make. So I'm presuming Sandaconda comes in now. Because Sandaconda is the only thing that takes a that takes an one Ice Beam from this thing at this point. Oh, he's gonna go into Heatmor. So Heatmor does get the boost from the sun. There is that. Actually, I may not kill with an Earth Power. In retrospect. I'm gonna switch into Curse Design. I'm gonna let Kyurem sit out for a tiny bit. Because Kyurem did more than I could ever need it to. Oh wait, I was calcing with Max Up. So Earth Power definitely would have killed. A Sucker Punch would have probably hurt, but Earth Power definitely would have killed. Oh well. It's whatever. I'm going to click Earthquake with Curse Design. So Kyurem could have definitely won this. From here, but it is what it is. There is Sandaconda. Which is just going to take an Earthquake. It's not bad damage off. He is definitely going to be maxing here, I'm presuming. There goes my son. As he shows Leftovers on Sandaconda. And there's my Leftovers. So Curse Design is not in a bad spot, honestly. I'm going to click Will-O-Wisp. If he goes back in... No, he's going to Coil! Yeah, we're not having any of that. I missed the Will-O-Wisp. Okay. That kind of sucks. Still, though, I'm going to click Willow again, because I can definitely... He's going to Coil a second time. He's probably got Shed Skin, if you want me to be absolutely honest with you guys. But there's my Burt. I get the burn off. I'm presuming he's going to Shed Skin. Well, actually, was Shed Skin activated by now, if that was the case? Curse Design is just healing up. He takes burn damage. No Shed Skin. And in that case, I'm going to Laundry Day now. Because Laundry Day can definitely take this thing on. As he coils a third time. If he doesn't max here, he's definitely going to die to a Hydro Pump. Because Hydro Pump almost OHKOs this thing. Actually, Laundry Day might be able to just kind of take things from here. Nope, that burn is still persistent. Is he Sand Spit? Or is Shed Skin just not activating? Either way, I'm clicking Hydro Pump. To kind of force him to max at this point. If he's got Stone Edge, he probably goes for it, but Rotom Wash definitely takes that while this thing is burned. And yep, there is the max. Hello, giant spinning tornado sand tornado snake. It's a Twister. It is hot. I'm gonna hit this Hydro Pump. I outspeed. He must be running more bulk, I guess. That did a little more than I thought it was going to for what's basically burn plus 3, because I am max defense. Interesting. I definitely kill this thing with another Hydro Pump, though. As that burn percent, I might ask him after the game if he is Shed Skin or not, because I'm feeling bad about him not getting Shed Skin to heal off that burn. I mean, granted, it's irrelevant at this point, because Rotom still kills this thing, but... Ooh, I am sorry about that, D.Rey. So all that remains now is Heatmor, which, actually, if he's mixed and more special leaning, he could definitely kill me with a Giga Drain. I'm just gonna click Hydro Pump. I was considering something, but it's probably better to just... I do miss the Hydro Pump. Okay, then. So there is that, as he shows knockoff. So either he is more physically leaning, or... And I do have speed, too. I'm gonna Volt Switch. And he just goes straight for the Sucker Punch, which does not kill Laundry Day. Ooh. This is just... I mean, it helps me catch up to Howler, because he's still way ahead of me on differential, but... I'm just gonna send Cryogenic in. Because I'm giving Cryogenic its chance to kind of catch up with, I should have killed this thing with a Hydro Pump, but one, Hydro Pump can miss again. Earth Power is a for sure. He's gonna hit me with a Sucker Punch. And I'm gonna Earth Power, and that's gonna be that. So Kyurem is gonna take half the kills out of this game. Redemption for my dragon. GG, D.Rey. I apologize for everything that happened. I certainly did not want this to be as much of a landslide as it turned out being. I'm just glad I got to show off the Sunny Day Weather Ball attack with Kyurem more than anything else, if you want me to be honest. But that is going to be the end of that. My Swoo are going to improve to 8-1 now. I believe that puts up to plus 17 differential, which catches up to Howler. It closes that gap considerably, depending on how his game goes this week. But that is going to do it for this game. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.